Picture a land where emerald fjords cut through towering mountains like nature's own cathedral. Where the midnight sun paints the wilderness in eternal gold, and where the northern lights dance across the Arctic sky in a cosmic ballet. Welcome to Norway, a realm where Viking legends still echo through ancient valleys, and every corner reveals a landscape more breathtaking than the last. This is Wondersphere, and today we're embarking on an epic journey through the most spectacular destinations in one of Earth's most dramatic countries. From the colorful wooden houses of Bergen to the icy wilderness of Svalbard, from the legendary fjords that inspired Norse mythology to islands so remote they exist like jewels scattered in the Arctic Ocean. Norway promises adventures that will redefine your understanding of natural beauty. But before we begin our 4K odyssey through this Nordic wonderland, let's test your knowledge about this extraordinary nation. Which of the following is not a real Norwegian fjord? A. Geirangerfjord, B. Sognefjord, C. Dragonfjord, D. Lysefjord. Give your answer in the comments below. Pause to think. Prepare to be transported to a land where nature reigns supreme. Pause to think. Prepare to be transported to a land where nature reigns supreme and every moment reveals a new masterpiece. Hit that subscribe button now, because once you glimpse the wonders of Norway, you'll understand why this is the ultimate bucket list destination. Before we dive into Norway's most mesmerizing destinations, let's discover the fascinating facts that make this Nordic kingdom unlike anywhere else on Earth. Norway's coastline, if straightened out, would stretch an incredible 83,000 kilometers, long enough to circle the equator twice. This serpentine coastline creates thousands of fjords that are themselves UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The country holds the distinction of having the world's longest road tunnel. The Lærdal Tunnel stretches for 24.5 kilometers, 15.2 miles, through solid rock, connecting eastern and western Norway. To prevent driver fatigue in this underground marathon, engineers installed air pockets with special lighting that simulate dawn, daylight, and dusk. Norway's oil wealth has created the world's largest sovereign wealth fund, worth over $1.5 trillion. Approximately $300,000 for every Norwegian citizen. Yet despite this immense wealth, the country has maintained its commitment to environmental protection and ranks among the world's greenest nations. The land of the midnight sun experiences perpetual daylight north of the Arctic Circle. For up to 76 consecutive days each summer, while the same regions endure polar nights with no sun for weeks in winter. This astronomical phenomenon creates otherworldly lighting conditions that photographers and nature lovers dream about. Our journey begins in Bergen, the vibrant gateway to Norway's fjords, where colorful 14th-century wooden houses line the historic Bergen district. Once the northern headquarters of the powerful Hanseatic League, this former medieval capital sits among 7 mountains, creating a natural amphitheater that earns its nickname Gateway to the Fjords. Bergen's famous Breathtaking wharf has burned down and been rebuilt numerous times. Yet local regulations require that any reconstruction use the same medieval building techniques and materials, keeping this UNESCO World Heritage Site authentically unchanged for centuries. As you wander Bergen's charming streets, the real adventure awaits. Speaking of which, have you wondered why this city serves as the perfect starting point for one of the world's most scenic train journeys? From Bergen, we journey to Flåm, the starting point of the legendary Flåm Railway. One of the world's steepest train rides, descending 863 meters through 20 tunnels carved through solid mountain. This engineering marvel drops at a gradient of 5.5%, with waterfalls cascading mere meters from your window. The tiny village of Flåm, population 350, welcomes over 800,000 annual visitors who come for both the railway and the stunning Geirangerfjord. The Flåm Railway took 17 years to build, 1923 to 1940. And required removing 100,000 cubic meters of rock by hand. All explosives had to be carried up the mountain on workers' backs. This incredible journey previews Norway's true crown jewel. But to reach that destination, we must venture to an island where the northern lights create their most spectacular display. From Flåm's fjords, we travel to Senja, Norway's second-largest island, where dramatic peaks plunge directly into the sea and tiny fishing villages cling to the rocky coast. Known as Little Norway for its incredible landscape diversity, Senja combines white sandy beaches with sharp mountain peaks, dense forests with tundra plateaus. The island's crown jewel is Segla, a razor-sharp mountain rising vertically 639 meters above sea level. Perfectly framing the aurora borealis during winter nights. Senja's beaches contain sand so white and fine, it's been mistaken for tropical paradises. Yet the water temperature rarely exceeds 14 degrees Celsius even in summer. Creating surreal scenes of pristine white beaches surrounded by snow-capped mountains. This unique combination sets the stage for Norway's most famous fjord, where nature has carved a masterpiece that defies imagination. Senja's rugged beauty leads us to Geirangerfjord, the crown jewel of Norway's fjords and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where emerald waters serpentine through mountains soaring 1,500 meters skyward. Seven waterfalls plunge into the fjord, with the seven sisters facing the solitary suitor. Across the water, in an eternal dance frozen in myth and stone. From the famous viewpoint at Dalsnibba, visitors gain a bird's-eye perspective of this natural wonder. The abandoned mountain farms visible along Geirangerfjord remained inhabited until the 1960s, with farmers using ladders and ropes to reach their fields. Some farms were so isolated that mail was delivered by boat only twice a year. This fjord's dramatic beauty foreshadows another city that rose from catastrophe to become one of Norway's most beautiful. From Geirangerfjord's natural drama, we arrive in Ålesund, a city that literally rose from its own ashes to become Norway's Art Nouveau capital. After a devastating 1904 fire destroyed the entire city center, Ålesund was rebuilt in the ornate Art Nouveau style sweeping Europe, creating an architectural masterpiece that seems to float on water. Built on several small islands connected by bridges, The city spreads across waters so clear you can see fish swimming beneath the boats. The rapid reconstruction was partly funded by Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, who loved vacationing here and organized international aid. Ålesund erected a statue of the Kaiser that still stands today, diplomatically labeled as a thank you to the world for the help we received. Our journey northward continues to a city where history and modernity blend surprisingly. From Ålesund's architectural elegance, we journey to Trondheim. Norway's medieval capital, where king after king was crowned for nearly 700 years. Founded by Viking King Olav Tryggvason in 997 AD, Trondheim's colorful wooden warehouses line the Nidelva River, while the imposing Nidaros Cathedral stands as Scandinavia's largest medieval building. This city balances rich history with cutting-edge technology as Norway's tech capital. Trondheim's old wooden buildings are required by law to be painted in their original colors, creating vibrant red, yellow, and green warehouses. Each building's color corresponds to its original medieval trade guild, with red buildings housing spice merchants and yellow ones belonging to grain traders. The magic continues as we venture toward islands that have inspired countless legends. Trondheim's medieval charm gives way to the raw magnificence of the Lofoten Islands. An Arctic archipelago where dramatic peaks rise directly from the sea like sleeping giants' spines. These islands, connected by bridges spanning turquoise waters, create landscapes so surreal they seem painted by gods. During summer, the midnight sun transforms the ethereal scenery into a golden dreamscape, while winter brings northern lights dancing across peaks, reflecting in mirror-like sounds. Traditional red fishermen's cabins called rohrbuer dot the shoreline, many converted into cozy accommodations. Despite their Arctic location, the Lofoten Islands enjoy a relatively mild climate, thanks to the Gulf Stream, allowing tomatoes and strawberries to grow outdoors during summer. Making this the world's northernmost place where you can cultivate these crops without a greenhouse. The natural wonders continue just north, where an equally magnificent archipelago awaits. From Lofoten's iconic peaks, we continue north to Vesterålen, the hidden emerald of Norwegian archipelagos, where authentic Nordic coastal culture thrives away from crowds. While often overshadowed by its famous southern neighbor, Vesterålen offers intimate encounters with nature in landscapes alternating between rugged coastlines, pristine beaches, and rolling hills covered in Nordic birch forest. The archipelago's diverse ecosystem supports one of Norway's largest populations of sea eagles, moose, and Arctic foxes. While its waters harbor the highest density of orcas and sperm whales in Norwegian waters. Vesterålen hosts Europe's largest organic farm above the Arctic Circle. Where sheep graze on mountain slopes under the midnight sun and farmers use traditional methods, the wool from these sheep is considered some of the finest in the world, prized for its exceptional softness and natural insulation. As we continue north, the landscape becomes even more extreme. Venturing further north from Vesterålen, we arrive in Tromsø, the Paris of the North and gateway to the Arctic, where polar expeditions begin and the Northern Lights perform their greatest shows. This vibrant city sits 350 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. Yet pulses with culture, cuisine, and nightlife that rivals any European capital. Home to the world's northernmost university, brewery, and cathedral, Tromsø balances Arctic wilderness with urban sophistication. Tromsø's nickname, Paris of the North, comes from its surprisingly mild climate for an Arctic city. Thanks to the Gulf Stream, winters are warmer than many places 1,000 kilometers further south. And the city historically attracted wealthy visitors who came to experience Arctic luxury. Complete with grand hotels, theaters, and fashionable boulevards. The Arctic adventure reaches its peak as we journey to the northernmost inhabited place on Earth. From Tromsø's Arctic charm, we venture to Svalbard, the northernmost permanent settlement on Earth, where polar bears outnumber humans, and the sun doesn't set for 4 months each year. This Norwegian archipelago, sitting only 1,300 kilometers from the North Pole, represents humanity's final frontier. Longyearbyen operates under unique laws. It's illegal to die there. Bodies don't decompose in permafrost. Houses must remain unlocked for polar bear emergencies, and carrying a rifle outside town is mandatory protection. The global seed vault burrows deep into the permafrost, safeguarding millions of seed varieties against global catastrophe. Svalbard is governed by the unique Svalbard Treaty of 1920, which grants all signatory nations equal rights to establish settlements and conduct commercial activities. The only place on Earth where Russians run hotels next to Norwegian businesses, and citizens from over 50 countries live and work together in complete harmony, despite international tensions elsewhere. Returning south, we discover dramatic fjords that rival even Geirangerfjord. From Svalbard's Arctic extremes, we journey south to Stavanger and Lysefjord, where the famous Pulpit Rock creates one of Norway's most photographed viewpoints and most heart-stopping hiking experiences. This modern oil capital perfectly balances industrial prosperity with natural wonders, serving as the gateway to Lysefjord, where sheer cliffs rise 1,000 meters above deep blue waters. Above the fjord, Pulpit Rock, Breathtaking, offers brave souls a natural observation deck with no railings. A platform extending from the cliff face, providing vertigo-inducing views. Despite its fearsome appearance, the Pulpit Rock wasn't named for dramatic sermons. Breathtaking actually means the preacher's pulpit, because early settlers thought the flat rock formation resembled the pulpits in their wooden churches. These dramatic cliffs prepare visitors for the urban wonders found in the capital city. From Stavanger's cliffs, we arrive in Oslo, Norway's rapidly evolving capital, where Viking heritage meets cutting-edge architecture. This compact city balances its role as a modern European capital with easy access to wild nature, where residents can ski in winter or hike in vast forests just minutes from downtown. The striking Oslo Opera House allows visitors to walk on its angled roof for panoramic city views. While the new Munch Museum showcases Norway's most famous artist, including multiple versions of The Scream. Oslo is the world's fastest-warming capital city, with temperatures rising at twice the global average. Yet has responded by becoming one of the world's most environmentally progressive cities by 2030. Oslo plans to be completely carbon neutral, having already banned cars from large parts of its center, replacing them with bike lanes and green spaces. This environmental consciousness extends to the vast wilderness beyond city borders. Oslo's urban environment gives way to Hardangervidda, Norway's largest national park and Europe's biggest mountain plateau, where endless expanses of tundra create beautiful isolation. This massive plateau, covering over 8,000 square kilometers, resembles Arctic tundra, yet lies much further south, creating unique conditions where reindeer herds roam freely across wilderness that extends to every horizon. During summer, the plateau transforms into a wildflower paradise, while winter brings snow-white wilderness stretching endlessly, a perfect training ground for Norwegian cross-country skiers. Hardangervidda hosts Norway's largest population of wild reindeer. Approximately 10,000 animals that migrate seasonally across the plateau. In massive herds that can stretch for kilometers, creating a spectacle reminiscent of Africa's Great Migration, but set against otherworldly Arctic tundra. This plateau forms the backdrop for one of Norway's most beloved fjords. Hardangervidda's massive plateau drains into Hardangerfjord, the queen of the fjords, where spring transforms the landscape into a paradise of pink and white blossoms, rivaling Japan's cherry blossom season. This 179-kilometer fjord is lined with fruit orchards that create spectacular displays. When over 1 million fruit trees bloom simultaneously, filling the air with sweet fragrances and painting steep valley sides in delicate pastels. The contrast between the fjord's deep blue waters, snow-capped mountains, and clouds of blossoms has inspired countless Norwegian artists. Hardangerfjord's fruit-growing tradition dates back to the 14th century, when monks from the Lyse monastery introduced fruit cultivation. Today, this fjord produces about 40% of Norway's total fruit harvest. With some family-owned orchards containing apple trees over 200 years old that still produce fruit each season. The fjord system reaches its ultimate expression in the north. From Hardangerfjord's fruit orchards, we reach Sognefjord, the king of the fjords and Norway's longest and deepest fjord. Stretching 204 kilometers inland and plunging to depths of 1,308 meters below sea level. This massive geographic feature creates its own weather systems, with waterfalls cascading down 1,000-meter cliffs. Glaciers calving into deep waters, and side fjords branching off like fingers, reaching into Norway's heart. The fjord's immense scale becomes apparent when ocean-going vessels navigate its entire length. Traveling from the Atlantic coast to mountain villages that feel impossibly remote. Sognefjord is so deep that its bottom lies 1,308 meters below sea level. If you could flip the fjord upside down, it would be taller than Norway's highest mountains. With the deepest parts containing pressure so intense that water weighs significantly more than at the surface, creating what scientists call intermediate water that moves differently than normal ocean water. This remarkable waterway marks the culmination of our Norwegian adventure. As our epic journey through Norway comes to a close, I hope you've felt the profound magic that makes this Nordic kingdom a destination unlike any other on Earth. From Bergen's colorful medieval quarter to Svalbard's Arctic frontier, from the artistic magnificence of Geirangerfjord to the midnight sun over Tromsø, Norway reveals itself as a land where nature reigns supreme, and every destination surpasses the last in dramatic beauty. Whether you're dreaming of hiking to the edge of Pulpit Rock, watching the northern lights dance above the Lofoten Islands, or sailing through fjords so deep they create their own weather systems, Norway promises experiences that will stay with you forever. Each location we've explored tells part of a larger story. one of glaciers carving impossibly deep valleys, of humans adapting to extreme latitudes, and of a modern nation that has maintained its connection to the wild places that define its character. Thank you for joining me on this breathtaking journey through the wonders of Norway. If this exploration has ignited your wanderlust, please hit that like button and subscribe to Wondersphere. For more adventures that capture the most extraordinary places on our planet, share in the comments which Norwegian destination captured your heart most deeply. And remember, some places must be experienced to be believed. This is Wondersphere, celebrating our magnificent planet, one stunning destination at a time.